MULN has finally completed the ELMS acquisition deal for $105 million in cash payments. So, is this the big announcement we needed and should you buy? Stay focused as we go through recent news as well as my chart analysis and price prediction. But before we do that, subscribe to our channel Stocks 101 for regular stock market updates. MULN has been bearish for the past few weeks as investors waited anxiously for David's big announcement, but on Thursday the company announced that they closed in on the ELMS deal, getting ownership of all their assets and intellectual property. The Indiana factory previously owned by ELMS used to produce Mercedes R-Class and Hummer H2 vehicles, and David said that with this purchase they're all set to launch commercial vehicles in the first quarter of 2023. Many investors are now expecting the stock price to cross the $1 level and comply with Nasdaq guidelines, but in our opinion the current 20-cent level might be a great buy zone for people interested in investing. With all that in mind, let's analyze the charts. So as you guys can see right here, we're now in the 1-day chart for MULN, and as always, we'll first analyze the 1-day chart, then the 1-hour chart, and to end it off, we'll get to the 5-minute chart. But right off the bat, we can see that we're already falling. Right, we did get a good day yesterday. My prediction failed because, of course, we did get the the ELMS announcement, and that shook the entire market. Right, that it shook the stock price. We went up by pretty much 13 or 14% in the gap up, and after that we made a high around 27%, after which, well, we fell by pretty much half of it, and we ended the day off up 13% at a price of 21.78 cents, and right now we're in a gap down at the price of $20.40, but we started the day off in pretty much a 6.5% gap down. But there's something that we must note, right? Of course, we did get a volume of 395 million yesterday, but the market has just started and we already have a volume of pretty much 25.9 million, right? So that's a lot, of course, right? That means that almost, I guess, $5 million worth of shares have already been traded, and I believe it's a buy order because the stock, of course, is in the green, right? So that's again great news. But a relatively bad news is that this candle right here is a pin bar on the downside. While it may not be that aggressive of a pin bar candle, right? Because of course the body is not that inclined towards the bottom side, but still it's a pin bar candle on the lower side. And even if we get a green candle, right, if the candle is a pin bar on the upper side, then we'd probably be in for a reversal, right? So that of course is not a good sign. But then again, I personally believe that it might be a good time to buy because, of course, once MULN gets vehicles out, we've already discussed this countless times before. Once vehicles actually start getting on the road, MULN will pick up pace and go up, right? When will that happen? Well, with the ELMS acquisition completed, right, it might happen sooner than most of us expected it. So, of course, David himself said that it might happen in the first quarter of 2023, where they expect to give out Class 1 vehicles like taxis and stuff like that, right? And of course, in 2023's second or third quarter, they'll probably give out, what do you call it, trucks and other commercial vehicles, right? The Class 3 vehicles. So, of course, that is one of the best news that Mullen has had in this year. And at the same time, I believe that, of course, because that factory in Indiana used to manufacture Mercedes and Hummer vehicles, it already has a good rep attached to it, and that reputation will help Mullen in the long term as well. But right now, we can see that the stock is falling down, and of course, we will analyze that in detail in a moment. But at the same time, we do need to note that we're already in a bearish trend, right? The trend is bearish, right? The previous trend was bearish as well, and overall the trend is bearish, right? This was just a small breather that we got, and we've had a pretty crazy bearish trend. I would say we did get some recovery over here with crazy volumes, but there's one thing that I want you guys to really pay attention to, and that's that over here. Well, I'll have to zoom out really hard for this. When we got this massive spike, our volumes were in like 639,000, 3 million, 500,000, 200,000, a million, or something like that, right? And of course, right now, our volumes are hundreds of millions hundreds of millions of shares being traded. And of course, over here, we got 658 million shares traded, which, of course, if you compare it to these volumes, they're like 100x more or even 1000x more. Wait, is it 1000x more? Um, yes, it's almost 1000 times the volume than we got back then, right? But of course, the stock still is falling. So what does that mean, right? There are two theories, right? The first one, that people are buying it so they can leverage it out to short sellers, right? So institutions can kind of leverage it out to short sellers. So that is, one way to look at it. But I personally don't think that's entirely true, right? Since we've seen that a lot of institutions are buying and they're buying solely for the purpose of holding, and they've been very bullish on Mullen from the start, and they've been buying ever since the stock price started dropping. So 20 cents, again, back to the point, is that a good time to buy? In my opinion, yes. I personally, well, I won't tell you the amount of shares that I have, but of course, I did get to score some under the 20-cent range around here, right? So that, of course, is a good trade. And I personally think that, of course, it's a risky bet, right? But at the same time, the upside potential is crazy. So even, let's just take an example. We have a guy named John, right? And John decides that he wants to invest $1,000 in Mullen, right? He does that at 20 cents a share. And of course, the market cap right now, let's see real quick. The market cap is, let's just say, a rounded of $100 million. So once that market cap reaches the likes of Rivian and Neo, getting to, like, let's say $10 billion even, that's already a 100x growth, right? So John's $1,000, well, there are $100,000 now, and he can even start his own business now with that money, right? So that's, of course, one way to look at it, and that's why I personally trade, what do you call this? Pretty much, I won't exactly call it a penny stock, but meme stocks, I guess, right? MULN is pretty much a meme stock at this point, and this is why I trade meme stocks or trending stocks without, stop losses, with only the amount of money I'm willing to lose, right? You have to take care of those things and go in with a mindset that will help you manage risks as well, because trading is not about charts, not about fundamentals. It's only about managing risks. But of course, I'll continue to give you guys more information on this. But of course, we'll have to jump on into the 1 hour chart if we want to analyze the stock further. And now that we're in the 1 hour chart, this is the only data that we need right now, right? So that's, of course, Thursday's performance and today's pre-market and, the live market as well. So we can see that yesterday, of course, we did get a good bull run in the pre-market, right? Some good volumes as well. 513,000 shares, 2.2 million shares, right? Even though I don't really think these volumes are correct for the 1 hour chart. So let's just ignore them at the moment, and well, let me just close this. And if we look at the price action, of course, we did hit a high over here, right? In the first candle itself, and ever since then it was bearish, got a breather, again bearish, right? A pin bar on the upside, red pin bar, right? So whenever there's a pin bar that's followed by the opposite candle, then of course you have to know that it's a bad sign. And at the same time, we get one over here as well. We got a pin bar on the upside followed by a red candle. So that pretty much is not a bad sign in itself. But I believe that, if we were to get even a red candle over here, right, it might be in for a small bull run. So we could continue that with a green candle next to it, right? A follow-up green candle, that would be great. But of course, if we get two red candles in a row, I believe that we'll switch things up real quick and head back under the 20-cent range, which of course, most of us don't want to hear this. But let's be honest, if you're long-term investors, we have to kind of accept the truth and, stay with it, right? Of course, it's going to be hard, right? No one wants to hear that their favorite stock or the stock that they're holding is going down, but it's the truth, right? You have to deal with it. But at the same time, if we want to analyze any possibilities for the stock to go up, we'll have to jump on into the most detailed and, the most informative chart, and that is, of course, the 5-minute chart. And now that we're in the 5-minute chart, let me quickly delete all of these drawings. And this right here is the reason why I told you that we need to head on into the 5-minute chart, because now we can see that there is a possibility for a potential reversal on the upside, right? We made a bottom around 19.3 cents, after which, of course, we went up, got resisted pretty much around 20.12, 20.10, went down, got supported 19.7, went up, small pullback, went up, small pullback, going up. We'll probably get a small pullback next, and we might be on our way to build up what do you call it? A bull trend, right? So we might be on our way to build up a bull trend, and of course, if we do well, we did get a green candle over here. It will turn red if I'm not wrong, right? I hope it will stay green, but of course, if we have to get a healthy pullback, it will probably turn red. If we're talking about the numbers, we're down 4.74%. As you can see right here, the candle is going down. And if we look at yesterday's performance as well, we did go up by a lot. And even after the pre-market ended, we were still going up, right? Pretty much the same way as the current market, right? Pretty much the same way as this. And after that, we got a steep fall, a lot of selling pressure, right? And then, we really went down. And once the stock went down over here, we did hit the same level again and went on to, kind of convert it into a small bullish trend. And of course, as you guys can see right here, we did get a red candle. So this is a good sign, right? We might be building a healthy bull run. And if we do, do let me know in the comments because of course the video will be up by then. And at the same time, I've always told you this, that I am bearish on the stock short term. Well, I was bearish on the stock short term, but I don't think it will drop any further, right? The lowest point it can go, I've already told you this. We already went down to pretty much 18 cents. I predicted this a long time back. And of course, after that, 15 cents probably is the lowest that the stock can go. I'm not saying that it will head to 15 cents, but it's pretty much the lowest. And of course, if we talk about a price prediction on the upper side, around $2 or $3 is my target for 2023. And with that, of course, remember that I could be wrong. So this most definitely is not financial advice, and you should always do your own research before you trade. If, however, you enjoyed my analysis, be sure to hit the like button. If you did not enjoy it, be sure to hit the dislike button. You can subscribe to our channel Stox 101 for more such videos. And as always, I will see you guys in the next one.